If I wanted to make a Sunburst Panto, this is one way to go about it. I actually came up with two ways, but I'm just going to talk about the one. So I would start with Design Sew Quilt, start new. Yes, I'm willing to replace it. And yes, we'll erase it. Reset. Then I want a block pattern and enter the rectangle manually, and I'm just fine with the 10-inch default, so I'm going to say continue. What I really want is a ray line, and I have one in my geometric catalog, but I'm going to show you how to create one if you haven't before. So I'm going to say finished. So I'm going to go into my geometric catalog, and it went there automatically because I was just in it testing this. Going to go line, and I just want to find the line pattern and say continue. And I'm going to just move it, zoom out a little bit, and stretch it just so it's vertical. No reason really other than that way I know where it's going. And then finished. And no, I don't, but I do want to copy my line, continue. And I would typically just stack them on top of each other, but Tracy showed in hers where if she offsets them just a little bit, that works. I have a harder time connecting them in my stick than I do on my tablet if I stack them right on top of each other. I'm going to try that first. But first I'm going to switch my start and end point. And then I'm going to move this right on top of the other one. Finished, and I want to combine my patterns. So that one, continue, and then it's really hard to get the second one, and that's why. Okay, so let me go back out. So I can usually do it on the tablet. Let's modify the pattern. Let's do this one, continue, move it out. I'm going to just scale it up just a little bit so it sticks out beyond. Move this. I may not be doing it the way she does it. Combine patterns. This one, continue, and then this one, continue, and finished. And I really want my start and end point in the exact same spot. Let me just see. And right now it's offset just a little bit here. See that? So let me go back, zoom back out, and I'm just going to use that block as a clipping block. Finished. Finished. Add edit block, add block, clipping block. I want to clip this, continue, and I'm going to select this block, continue, and finished, and finished. Accept. Now it should add a pattern, modify pattern. If I zoom in, that start and end point should be sitting in exactly the same spot. So if you don't have this already, then go ahead and save it to your geometric catalog, and then you won't have to keep creating it. So I'm going to say finished and save quilt/pattern, save a pattern from the quilt, and it's this one, continue, and give it a name, clear. I called mine Ray Line, but there's already one there, so let me just call it 2 and enter. And now I have it there. I'm going to put it in my geometric catalog because that's where I would use it the most. Geometric, select, and it's there. And then I want to leave here. Zoom out. Okay, come on, zoom out. Here we go. And my next step now, since I have my ray line, if you already had one, you would have just gone and gotten it and put it on in your block. I'm going to add edit pattern. I'm going to add pattern, and I want a fan pattern. I'm going to choose this, continue. And you can choose how many repeats. There's no reason that you have to do the math. If you know how many repeats you want, you don't have to figure out the angle. You can come down here to where the sweep is, and as we toggle through it, right now it's a full circle. The manual is you set what it is. but you can have a quarter circle, a half circle, or a full circle. And I want a full circle, and I want 24 rays, so I don't have to sit down and divide 316 by 24 to get my 15-degree angle. Okay, so now I can move this center and create a hole in the middle. So that's good enough for what I'm doing here. I'm going to say finished, and then I'm going to move this pattern, edit pattern, modify pattern, this pattern, and I'm going to put it in the middle of my block. But I actually want to change my start and end out to the end. So because it was a ray pattern and this is a closed shape, I should be able to do that. So I can just click on the start, end, and you see I got the arrow. That means I can move it. And I actually want to move it out into one of the ones that's going to be in the corner of my square. But I want to zoom in and make sure I got it all the way out to the corner. Oh, let me turn the grid off for right now. We will be using it, but see, it looked like I was on the end, but I'm not. I'm back a little bit. So you want to zoom way in and take that all the way to the end. And I'm going to go back, zoom full. And I actually don't want the hole to be that big. I'm going to use this square to trim or to clip this shape. So let's scale it down a little bit. Let's try 75%. That's pretty good. I still might not want the hole that big. Let's look at it true size. That's actually not bad. So I'll leave it zoom full. When I'm happy with what I have here, how big the hole is, because I could still shrink this down a little bit and bring in my lines to the corners, but this is fine. It'll trim it. I'm going to say finished. I'm going to say add edit block, add block, clipping block. What pattern do I want to clip? It's this one. Continue. I'm going to select an existing block. It's this one. Continue. And finished. And I do want my transition to be continuous, but there's really not going to be anything there. If I said it was jump stitches, there's still none. So let's just leave it as continuous and accept it. And yes. Okay. So now I don't need the block anymore. Let's go back and delete that so it's out of the picture. Yes. So let's finish here. Add edit pattern, modify pattern. I want to modify this one. And I'm going to rotate it so that this is on the horizontal. So I'm going to rotate it so my start and end is over here to start with. Now, I need to split this if I want to make it continuous, because right now I would stitch the whole thing all the way around and start and end at the same point. So I want to split it over on this side, because what I want it to do eventually is come in here, stitch around this thing, and then come back out on this side. So let's just zoom way in down here. And I need to be finished from modify pattern. I want to go split pattern, and I want to put that split right on the very end. Say split. Okay. So now if I modify the pattern, I should have two separate halves, which I do. Now, if I want to make this continuous, I'm not going to have double stitching lines on the ones coming in and going out of this pattern. So what I need to do is split one on each side out. So I'm going to split it right here. And I want to zoom way in so I'm getting that split exactly where I want it. I'm going to go finished. Oh, I need my zoom lock on so I don't have to keep doing that. Zoom lock, zoom in. And turn the zoom off. I want to put my little dot right in that corner. Again, I find that a little easier on the tablet. Say split out. And I'm going to do the same thing right here on the bottom one. So it's one on each half. So I'm going to zoom in. And my dot right there. There it is. And split. Zoom out. And let's just modify the pattern. Let's take this one and this one, continue, and just move them out of the way. We can save them in case we want them later. I don't think we will. Now we're ready to put this back together. So let me select just the top one, continue. And actually, I need to split one more out. I'm going to zoom in, and I need to split this one, but I'm not going to delete it. Finished. Split. Zoom out. Now let's move them together. Modify pattern, this one, continue. I'm going to bring it in right there. Let's zoom in and make it sure it's popping into the right spot, and it's good. Okay, so now I'm ready to do some combining. So I'm going to say finished, combine patterns. I want to choose the first one, the one where the start is coming in. So that one goes around to there, continue. And then I'm going to click this one, so it's not doing this ray right now. So it will have stitched everything except for that ray. Say continue and finished. Now, I need to get back over to here and stitch out here, which means I need to put a half circle on this. So there will be over stitching on half of this. Let's say finished. Oh, I deleted my block and I shouldn't have. Finished. Add edit pattern, add pattern, block pattern, inner rectangle. That's just because I deleted it or could have used the one that was there. Continue, finished, and in my geometric catalog I want to go to half circle, there, continue, and it's way too big, but that's okay. We're going to move it to start with, so I'm going to move my start point to where my end point is right there. And then I can stretch this. So I'm going to say stretch. I want to anchor on the point that is correct. Grab this end and drag it into here. And zoom in. The overstitching may not be perfect, but that's pretty good because you kind of have straight lines here. Zoom out. Finished. And no, I don't want to add another pattern. So now I need to combine the part that we already combined. It's one big pattern. So this, continue with that half circle, and it might take, there, I got it. Once it pops up and asks you to continue, then it's selected. I'm going to say continue, and then I want this one, but I don't want the start point out there. It should be the end point, so I need to swap my start and end points. Continue and finished. So now, zoom out. If I look at this, let's modify the pattern. My start point is here, my end point is here, so it's coming in on the left and going out on the right. I want to make sure this is straight, that this is absolutely horizontal. So I'm going to turn my grid on, and I am going to select this pattern to modify it. I'm already in the modify pattern screen. Continue. Okay, turn the grid on again. And I want my snap on. It should have defaulted to off, but I've already been here. And I just need to bring it in and snap it to a point on the grid. Okay, and then I want to stretch. I want to go here, zoom out, and I want to grab this and stretch it, doesn't matter which one, to one of the grid points that's on the parallel line. Finished. At this point, I'm going to save this because it is a continuous line design. Finished, save a pattern from the quilt. I want this one, continue. I'm going to call it, let's clear, Starburst continuous, enter, and I just put everything into a catalog that has my name on it. Select. So that's saved now. But if you remember, this came in, stitched all the way around, and then backtracked here. I personally would rather not have all of them backtracking on the same side, so if I make a double one, then I can have that change every other one. So what I would do is add edit pattern, copy pattern, and this is purely optional. We can turn the grid off now. Continue, and I'm going to flip it on the Y, and you didn't see anything happen, but it did. I'm going to move it over here and snap it in, and I'm just having problems with this, but I think I got it fixed. Yeah. Finished, and I'm going to say combine pattern, this one, and this one, continue, finished, save a pattern, this one, and let's just call it Starburst continuous double. Enter. I'm going to put it here. Okay, so now let's just get out of here. I'm going to say design sew quilt, start new. Yes, I'm fine with the, and I'm going to erase it. I don't care about the time. I'm going to say pantograph, enter rectangle manually. Let's say it's a 40 by 40 quilt. Enter, 40, enter, continue, finished, and I need to go up to my catalog, and it's working on it, Sunburst, let's do the double one, because Sunburst. I can do that. There it is. This one, continue, and then my second row, I want this one, continue. I want to offset every other one by 50%. Whoops. Well, it doesn't matter. Negative or positive. Come on, catch up with me. It says 50. Okay, maybe I don't want 50. Maybe I only want, oh, I only need 25 because this is a double. So that is why. If it had been the single, 50 would have been correct. The gap, I want to reduce it. And I probably don't want this to be 18 inches high. So let's reduce our row height to, oh, let's try 8. That's not bad. So if I zoom true size, I'm fine with that size circle. So if you had wanted a bigger circle, you would have done that when you were creating your fan. Zoom full. So if I'm happy with the gap, I'm finished. Accept, yes, and continuous, yes. Now let's just sew the quilt one row so you can see that I really did flip it. Continue, sew quilt, finished, continue, and start. And we really only need to see 2 of these stitch out, but the first one's going. to go all the way around clockwise, and the second one should go from the bottom counterclockwise, I believe. So I don't really need to show you both of them stitch. I just want to show you at least the start of the second one, or halfway through it. There, it travels around, and now it should go, yeah, it went the other way. So that way my double stitching will be alternating. I think you get the idea. So I'm going to upload the patterns. Of course, I have not stitched them out. You saw me just make them. And I'm going to upload the video. Have fun with it.